Let's head across the field to the other sideline and see what the competition has in store for the Gators. It's time for Scouting the Opponent on the First and 10 pregame show. Here's Juliana Rickenbaugh.
The number 7 Utah Utes had a great 2021 season. They crushed Oregon not once, but twice, cruised their way to a Pac-12 championship, and kept it close with Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, losing by a late field goal. All that's behind them, but only so far. They returned 17 of those starters. Pac-12 Network analyst Yogi Roth says they are legitimate playoff contenders and the clear favorites to win the Pac-12.
And their style of football is probably anti what most of your listeners think of when they think of Pac-12 play. I mean, it's physical. They're going to punch you in the face. They're going to send multiple guys to the NFL on the offensive defensive front.
Especially linemen. Roth says Utah leads the Pac-12 in linemen drafted over the past 10 years. Bad news for the Gators. 3 out of 5 O-line starters are back, and the other 2 starters will be returners to a unit that allowed the least amount of sacks per game amongst all Power 5 teams. However, that's good news for all Pac-12 5-star quarterback Cameron Rising. Roth says he's not a top-tier game changer like Ohio State's C.J. Stroud or Alabama's Bryce Young, but he's got all you want at the second level.
Whether you want to talk Anthony Richardson or if you want to talk Kentucky's quarterback, Will Levis, there's a lot of talent in that second tier right behind those 2 guys. Cam Rising's in that dialogue, and if they're 11-1 at the end of the year, I'm walking the streets of New York City with him. Gator
linebacker Amari Burney says Rising is sneakily fast, and he's got 2 huge targets at tight end.
Number 80 and number 86. Number 80, we've been watching on film. He kind of hybrid tight end, kind of like Kyle Pitts, if I should say, kind of like how we used him. So it's going to be a very good challenge for us.
Defending hybrid wide receiver tight end Brent Keithley and his teammate Dalton Kincaid will definitely be a challenge. With both players posting 500-plus receiving yards last year, potentially a matchup nightmare. But if Rising doesn't have the Heisman performance Roth imagines, Rising can hand the ball off to junior running back Tavion Thomas. He rushed for over 1,100 yards and 21 touchdowns last year. Burney and the Gator defense have noticed the run game in their own scouting report.
Utah is a run-heavy offense. They're going to come in 12, 13 personnel and try to run the ball. So we're going to get grimy and dirty and stop that run.
Utah both rushed and passed for over 3,000 yards last year. Florida head coach Billy Napier credits the strong balance to Utah offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig.
They obviously do a good job of designing the plan, either ors. I mean, it's well thought out. I mean, their coordinator, I've watched this guy for a long time. He's good at what he does, and he's got a quarterback that can make the decisions.
With all these returners like Rising, does Utah have any weaknesses? Salt Lake Tribune Utes beat writer Josh Newman says they do.
You have 2 holes to fill at linebacker. There are depth issues at wide receiver. Depth concerns at cornerback.
Utah play-by-play voice Bill Riley says one answer to the linebacker question transferred out of Florida last year.
They like him an awful lot. He's probably been the best defensive player in fall camp. That's Famu Diabate. And Diabate's been such a revelation for them. He's really thriving.
Alongside cornerback Clark Phillips, the highest-rated Utah recruit ever. He'll likely enter the draft this year, boasting multiple pick sixes after just 2 seasons. But there's one more problem for Utah. Former Utah and Florida head coach Urban Meyer has experienced the Salt Lake City high desert and the Florida humidity.
You just cannot simulate what those players are going to feel when they land in Gainesville. I mean, it's going to hit them square in the face.
The Utes can handle the nighttime atmosphere, but the swampiness will be another question. That's your Utah Utes scouting report. I'm Juliana Rickenbaugh.